Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
There's a 7-Eleven, second in division where all the hard luck falls. Shells of people stumbling around, breaking down against that wall. When the red light flashes.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Bootstrap Nation, and it is from the latest album release of Matt Mitchell Music Company, Obvious Euphoria, which you can stream along with plenty of other releases from the project wherever you get your music. Matt Mitchell Music Company is primarily based in the Pacific Northwest. However, they'll be coming for not one, but 2 shows in the Peak to Peak area. In fact, their very next show is at the Gold Hill General Store, located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill on Thursday, September 12th, starting at 7 p.m. If you missed that show, you've got another chance to see them at Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Sunday, September 15th, starting at 3 p.m. If you want to learn more about the band in the meantime, be sure to check out their website at mattmitchellmusicco.com, which is also where you can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can even check out a full half-hour special that Matt Mitchell Music Company was involved with as a part of the series Inland Sessions for KSPS PBS Public TV.
That's the nature of the bootstrap nation, from the gutter to the pharmacy. Find yourself a means of exploitation. There ain't nothing you can't be. This American dream. This American dream. Could be.
Hello there, everybody. My name is Jamie Lammers, and welcome to this week's Miscellaneous Monday edition of the Mountaineer Podcast, where we cover various topics from across the Peak to Peak area. This week, we're bringing you a special segment from our guest correspondent, who will introduce herself in just a second. But before we get into that, I've got 2 announcements to make. The first announcement is that for the first time since I started doing them, I completely forgot to include the music mentions in this past Friday's episode of the podcast. I was so focused on getting the final interview edited and complete that I didn't even record the music mentions. So we are going to fix that and include last week's music mentions now. So stay tuned until the end of the episode to hear who's playing soon. The second announcement is the weekly announcement for Miscellaneous Mondays. What's playing at the Backdoor Theater? This upcoming weekend is not the normal weekend at the Backdoor Theater. Of course, usually there is a weekend movie playing on Friday nights, Saturday afternoons, and Saturday nights. This time, though, there's a little bit of a different schedule. As I promoted last week, instead of the normal Saturday evening movie, the Backdoor Theater is hosting a night of magic and comedy featuring Scott Pepper and Kirk Marsh. They'll be performing a magic and comedy act together on Saturday, September 14th, starting at 7 p.m. You can head to magiciansagency.com to learn more about the shows and get tickets if you still haven't yet. And you can hear from Scott Pepper and Kirk Marsh and learn more information about the upcoming event by listening to last week's Miscellaneous Monday episode. Of course, this night of magic and comedy is taking the place of the normal Saturday night movie, and there is also no Saturday matinee this week. For the Friday night movie, they are playing a classic film from 1973. It celebrated its 50th anniversary last year, and that film is The Sting. The film is rated PG. Here is a quick summary from the Backdoor Theater themselves. Two grifters team up to pull off the ultimate con. If you're interested in seeing the Friday night movie on Friday, September 13th, starting at 7 p.m., or you've bought tickets for the fun night of magic and comedy on Saturday, September 14th, starting at 7 p.m., then be sure to head to the Nederland Community Center at 750 Colorado 72 in Nederland. All right, I think that's pretty much all I have for this Monday, so it's time to bring in our guest correspondent.
This is the Mountain Ear Podcast, and I'm Maryann Rosen, bringing you stories, history, or lore from or about the mountains you live in. This past August 1st, Colorado celebrated its 148th birthday as a state. After Andrew Jackson vetoed a bill to allow Colorado to become a state, Ulysses S. Grant admitted Colorado into the Union on August 1st, 1876. Entering the Union as its 38th state, 100 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, Colorado's moniker became the Centennial State. In October of 1876, Republican John Long Rout, the former governor of the Colorado Territory, was chosen to be the governor of the now state. The region has a storied history, including westward expansion, the gold rush, mining, and a fraught and troubled past with indigenous tribes, including incidents such as Sand Creek and others. Many Black people migrated to Colorado seeking a better life away from the Jim Crow South after the Civil War. Though still facing discrimination, they were allowed to own land and build societies. Colorado was the second state to give women the right to vote before the 19th Amendment was enacted. In more current times, Colorado is known for ranching, farming, outdoor activities, tourism, and for its significant contributions to the aerospace, defense, and technology industries. The state's mountains, plains, deserts, desert canyons, red rocks, mesas, lakes, rivers, and creeks are home to one of the most diverse and abundant wildlife populations in North America, with over 800 different species. Colorado has over 500 bird species, including its state bird, the lark bunting, over 50 reptile species, over 20 species of amphibians, 70 species of fish, and many insect species. Including its state animal, the bighorn sheep, the state also has more than 140 mammal species. 300 species of wildflowers grow in the state, including its state flower, the blue columbine. Colorado's lowest elevation is at 3,317 feet above sea level. Its highest is Mount Elbert at 14,440 feet above sea level, giving the state the highest mean altitude of all of the states. Trail Ridge Road, which leaves Rocky Mountain National Park, soars to 12,183 feet and crosses the Continental Divide to the western slope, is the highest continuous U.S. highway. The highest paved road in North America is also in Colorado. Off of I-70, the road to Mount Blue Sky, formerly Mount Evans, climbs to 14,258 feet. To many, Colorado is or feels like home. To others, it is a great place to visit. The majority of Colorado's population lives in the Front Range urban corridor, which stretches from Fort Collins to Pueblo, includes Denver, and is along the eastern edge of the Rocky Mountains. Whether you live here or are visiting, there is plenty to do. Music, art, museums, historic sites, restaurants, shopping, sports, and breweries abound. There are also many outdoor activities: skiing or boarding, hiking, mountain climbing, biking, rock climbing, swimming, and kayaking are just a few. That is an overview of Colorado as it celebrated its 148 years as a state. But let's back up and look back and see what our own peak-to-peak region was like 148 years ago as Colorado entered the Union. Central City was nicknamed the richest square mile on Earth and the Little Kingdom of Gilpin for its prominence in the Pikes Peak Gold Rush. Central City has a rich industrial and cultural history. Known for its mining, Central City was a thriving economic hub in Colorado and held significant political influence at that time. Central City was one of the largest urban areas in the 1870s and was home also to the Teller House, constructed at that time, and the largest hotel outside of Denver. The town was also known as a cultural center, especially after the Central City Opera House was built in 1878, only 2 years after statehood. Colorado's economy diversified after becoming a state, and although some towns were exceedingly eclipsed by Denver, Central City was not one of them. Central City's next-door neighbor, Black Hawk, was one of Colorado's first cities to be incorporated and became the milling center for the gold ore mined throughout the region. Black Hawk, known as the City of Mills, had a gravity train that ran for over 6 miles on pine log rails pulled by horses up the hill from Black Hawk to the mines. The Gilpin Tramway also climbed from Black Hawk to the mines above Central City. As Colorado became a state, Black Hawk was connected to Denver by railroad to help bring refined gold out of the mountains. The year that Colorado became a state, the entire congressional delegation sent to Washington, D.C. came from Black Hawk. Central City and Black Hawk within Gilpin County produced more gold between the years of 1859 to 1893 than any other area in the American West. Today, Central City and Black Hawk are historic sites and home to casinos and tourism. The history of the Peak-to-Peak area will continue after this message.
Does talking with your teen ever feel like a game show with unpredictable twists and turns? Well, it doesn't have to be. We're pulling back the curtain and revealing winning tips for parents to take their relationship with their teen to the next level. Because a stronger bond not only keeps them healthy, but also adds more joy to your relationship. Ready to level up your parenting game? It's time to connect more. Head to forwardtogetherco.com for expert tips, videos, and guides. Build stronger connections starting today, because parenting should be a winning experience.
We are back and continuing on to Nederland. Moving along the Peak-to-Peak, we arrive in Nederland. Nederland was one of the richest mining camps in Colorado. The Caribou Silver Mine near Nederland and the Nederland tungsten mines were the largest producing mines of their kind. Caribou was established in the 1870s for workers at the Caribou Silver Mine. Sold to Dutch investors in 1871, the mine peaked around 1875 to 1876, just as Colorado was admitted as a state. Nederland itself began in the 1850s as a trading post between the Ute Indians and European settlers. However, by 1860 up until the 1880s, Nederland was a supply depot and mill center for the Caribou Silver Mine. The town of Nederland was incorporated in 1874, 2 years before statehood, and was named in honor of the Dutch owners of the mining company. The name Nederland means lower lands in Dutch. A little interesting, as the town sits at 8,233 feet above sea level. A fire destroyed the town of Caribou in 1879, and by 1890 there was little war left, and Nederland at the time became a ghost town, as did Caribou. Once tungsten was discovered and known to be valuable, Nederland had a revival about 30 years after statehood, and still thrives to this day. Caribou, however, still remains a ghost town. Ward, Colorado, further along, was also a mining town. A post office and school were established in 1863. The town is one of Colorado's oldest and longest-lasting mining camps. It has endured for 160 years, quite a feat for a small alpine mining town. The famous Columbia mine was located in 1861, and as the local mining industry matured, the town of Ward became a permanent and prosperous settlement. Hard times hit in the early 1870s, but by 1876, the same year Colorado became a state, improved milling technology brought the Ward district back to life. Horace Tabor of Leadville, owner of the Niwot mine, bought 2 50-stamp mills in Ward to process Niwot ore. A railroad was built to Ward in 1898, bringing tourists. By the 1920s, the town was mostly abandoned. Construction of the Peak-to-Peak Highway in the 1930s brought automobile tourism to the area, which gave Ward a new lease on life. Ward survives today as a historic tourist town, a satellite town of Boulder, and the entry to Brainerd Lake Recreation Area. Another town along the Peak-to-Peak, which operated as a mill town, is Rollinsville. Prior to statehood, a 50-stamp mill was already operating in the area. The Rollinsville stage stop was built in 1868, and the town established a post office in 1871, which is still active today. Rollinsville was an early transportation hub on the Rollins Pass Trail. A trail over Rollins Pass was upgraded to a toll road in 1873. Coinciding with statehood, Rollinsville lost much of its traffic when the easier Berthoud route was created over the pass. Although not next to mines, Rollinsville remained central to many mining areas as a mill town and where mining companies established their offices. In the 1880s, Rollins Pass was upgraded to a railroad route. Today, the Moffett Tunnel, securing the future of the rail line, has continued to keep the town alive. Our next stop is Allen's Park, a small mountain town with a rich history that dates back to the Colorado Gold Rush in 1859. Although there was some lore of gold and some miners in the area, There were also a lot of farmers. A park, in the geographical sense, Allen's Park is a high meadow surrounded by mountains, and tourists were drawn during the summer months to gain respite from the city. Farmers and miners found better income catering to the tourist. By the 1890s, tourism was booming, and Allen's Park is still a vibrant community today. Gold Hill is our last stop. Established in 1859 as the first permanent mining camp in the Colorado Mountains, Gold Hill was the site of the first major gold discovery during the Colorado Gold Rush. The Gold Hill Mining District was the largest mining district in Boulder County. In 1860, a fire ravaged the town, and those who remained moved to the town's current location. Miners previously searched for gold, but in 1872, a rich form of tellurium, a gold and telluride mineral mixture, was discovered, and once more miners flocked to the area. In 1873, just before statehood, Holiday House of Chicago purchased the Wentworth Hotel as a summer resort for working women. In 2010, fire once again destroyed many buildings in the town. Today, a restaurant, hotel, and music venue operates seasonally. As you have listened to this story, I'm sure you can see a theme emerging. Before, during, and after Colorado became a state, mining attracted settlers and created prosperity in the area. As mining declined, so too did the towns. With the exception of Caribou, all of the towns have found ways to revive and remain alive. Although the most recent data shows the total population of all towns mentioned in this story to be only 3,594, the Peak-to-Peak area is a vibrant and active community with much to offer and a history steeped in mining. Listen in next time to the Mountain Ear Podcast for another mountain tale. I'm Maryann Rosen. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much to Maryann for coming on board and bringing us that awesome segment. Once again, she'll be back for Mountain Tales in 2 weeks' time. And now, for last week's music mentions. Head to Busey Brews, located at 70 East 1st Street in Nederland on Sunday, September 15th, starting at 2 p.m. to see Ella Wren performing live. Head to the Gold Hill Inn, located at 401 Main Street in Gold Hill on Wednesday, September 11th, starting at 5:30 p.m. to see Josh Hoyer performing live, on Friday, September 13th at 8 p.m. to see Rolling Harvest performing live, and on Sunday, September 15th at 5:30 p.m. to see Silent Bear performing live. Head to the Gold Hill General Store, located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill on Thursday, September 12th, starting at 7 p.m. to see Matt Mitchell Music Company performing live, on Friday, September 13th at 8 p.m. to see Olela performing live, and on Saturday, September 14th at 7 p.m. to see Silver Steven performing live. Also be sure to head there on Sunday, September 15th, starting at 3 p.m. for the Lottie's Cookout event featuring, as of now unspecified, live music. Head to the Gregory Plaza, located near 317 Gregory Street in Blackhawk, which is the address of the Mountain Poppy Boutique, by the way, on Saturday, September 14th, starting at 5 p.m. to see the Sisters of Rock performing live. Be sure to check out the previous episode of the podcast to hear from Scotty Blue Sky Rogers, and Sonia Lee. This is the second to last of a series of 2024 shows sponsored by the Blackhawk Hardt District. Head to Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Saturday, September 14th, starting at 4 p.m. to see Windy Pines performing live, and on Sunday, September 15th, starting at 3 p.m. to see Matt Mitchell Music Company performing live. Head to the Jamestown Mercantile, located at 108 Main Street in Jamestown, on Wednesday, September 11th at 5 p.m. to see an open mic, on Thursday, September 12th at 7 p.m. to see Violet Breeze performing live, on Friday, September 13th at 7 p.m. to see Past the Snakes performing live, and on Sunday, September 15th at 12:15 p.m. to see Foggy Tops Bluegrass Band performing live. Head to the JKQ Barbecue, located at 200 Gregory Street in Blackhawk, on Friday, September 13th at 6 p.m. or on Saturday, September 14th at 5 p.m. to see Jeremy Lewis performing live. Head to Knotted Root Brewing, located at 250 North Caribou Street in Netherland, on Saturday, September 14th at 5 p.m. to see New Family Dog performing live. Also be sure to head there every Friday at 7 p.m. for a DJ night, every second Friday of the month at 7:30 p.m. for a reggae DJ night, and every Sunday at 5 p.m. for Jazz Sundays. Head to the Netherland Farmers Market, located at 85 East 1st Street and 80 East 2nd Street in Netherland, on Sunday, September 15th, starting at 10:30 a.m. to see the Stellar Jays Duo performing live. Head to the Caribou Room, located at 55 Indian Peaks Drive in Netherland, on Friday, September 13th to see George Porter Jr. and Runnin' Pardners perform with Damon Wood's Harmonious Junk. Doors open and dinner starts at 7 p.m. and the show starts at 8 p.m. And finally, pick your preference. Very Nice Brewing in Gilpin or Very Nice Brewing in Netherland. Head to Very Nice Brewing in Gilpin at 180 Jankowski Drive in Blackhawk on Friday, September 13th, starting at 6 p.m. to see Porphyry performing live, and on Saturday, September 14th, starting at 5 p.m. to see Tony Crank performing live. Or head to the Very Nice Brewing Company in Netherland at 20 East Lakeview Drive number 112 on Friday, September 13th, starting at 6 p.m. to see Mad Dog Blues performing live. Did we miss you or your performance? Want to submit your music listing in the Peak to Peak area? Do you have updates to your business or to your performances? Please call 303-810-5409 or email info@themountaineer.com or media@themountaineer.com to be included in the next print edition or the next podcast of The Mountain Ear. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in to this week's Miscellaneous Monday edition of the Mountain Ear Podcast. I promise that I will put the music mentions back in their normal spot this week in this Friday's Music of the Mountains edition of the Mountain Ear Podcast. In the meantime, be sure to tune in Wednesday for an awesome episode of the Mountain Ear Podcast that is not a retrospective, but that is still going to be a really fun interview. In the meantime, if you want to share this episode or others around with whoever you see fit, then be sure to head to the mtnearpodcast.buzzsprout.com or the mtnear.com/the-mountain-ear-podcast and share the episodes around. And if you'd like to be featured on the podcast in some way, whether you're involved in the Peak to Peak area and you want to be interviewed, or you have advertising that you want us to put on the podcast, then be sure to email me at media@themountaineer.com and we will get that sorted for you. I will see you all on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your day.
They say the best songs come from the worst of times. I think I'm ready for the limelight.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Hourglass, and it is the opening track of the latest release from Matt Mitchell Music Company, Obvious Euphoria, which you can stream along with plenty of other music releases of theirs wherever you get your music. Matt Mitchell Music Company is currently primarily based in the Pacific Northwest, but they're coming to the Peak to Peak area for not one, but 2 shows. Their next show is at the Gold Hill General Store, located at 531 Main Street in Gold Hill on Thursday, September 12th, starting at 7 p.m. A couple of days after that, they'll be performing at Howlin' Wind Brewing, located at 51A Main Street in Rollinsville on Sunday, September 15th, starting at 3 p.m. If you want to learn more about the band in the meantime, then be sure to head to their website at mattmitchellmusicco.com, which is also where you can find them on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can even check out a half-hour special that they were a part of as part of the KSPS PBS Public TV series Inland Sessions.
Be worth it. It could be panic with no purpose. Could be the hardest way of letting go. But I can't help but sing. Love is a melody. It gets stuck in your head, your heart, your soul. I am an hourglass, halfway filled with sand. Turn me over, I wanna go back to the beginning. I am a grain of sand.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.